You've made it to the third part of the Understanding Financial Aid and Scholarship series. In this last segment, we're going to talk about cost of attendance and tips. So we've already covered applying for financial aid and types of financial aid. So what goes into the cost of attendance to go to college? And think about what kind of costs you think might be involved. And we generally categorize them in two ways. There are direct costs like tuition and fees and your on-campus housing and meal plan. These are things that you're likely to see on the bill at a given college or university. But there are other expenses to think about too. Books and supplies, off-campus housing and meals, personal expenses, transportations, computer purchase. All of these things go into what your school publishes as the cost of attendance for that school or for any school that you're interested in going to. And so you can get financial aid to cover all of these things. What happens is that the financial aid pays the bill, and then if there's any left over, then you get a refund of that excess financial aid that you can use towards these other expenses. And that's because if you're a student, you need to have what you need to survive to meet your basic needs in order to succeed academically. So let's talk about what kinds of cost of attendance you might see out there. Now, these are some scary numbers. So the first thing that I want to say is this is not what you will pay to go to college. These are average direct costs at Oregon colleges. So this is what Oregon colleges published as their tuition and their room and board, their housing and meals for the 2018 to 2019 academic year. And that's the most recent year that information is available. You'll notice there's an asterisk next to the two-year colleges because most of them don't have room and board, right? So it's much less expensive to go to a two-year college. But generally speaking, what happens is that the more expensive the sticker price, the more financial aid is available. So don't get sticker shock, which is, if you think about a price tag on something and you pick it up and you go, oh my gosh, it's way too expensive. You put it right down, right? But that's not what you actually pay because financial aid comes in and it reduces that cost. So if there's a school where you know you can succeed or you know that you'd be a great fit, apply. See what kind of financial aid you get. You might be surprised. Let's talk about why the prices are different though. At a two-year school, it might be that you are taking some classes to pursue a two-year degree. There might be some technical classes involved. Folks come and go. But at a four-year school, you're going to have a lot more opportunities. There's going to be students from all around the world. And in non-pandemic times, you'll be able to travel to different countries as well. There's people who are on campus doing original research. So you're not just reading the book, you're also with the person who's writing the book, and you could potentially help them write it by doing research. There's all kinds of facilities that you can take advantage of, whether you're interested in marine biology or architecture or political science. You've got a big library to take advantage of. So there's all kinds of different opportunities that will really launch you into new relationships with people and professional directions and fulfillment in your life. So the University of Oregon is a four-year public university. Private universities usually publish a much higher cost, and sometimes they have smaller class sizes, and so they do end up being more expensive. But at a place like the University of Oregon, you really get a happy medium between that big school experience and all the things available, as well as an intimate instruction experience. So generally speaking, like I said, more scholarships come to you, the more expensive the school is. Don't count yourself out. Now let's look at the University of Oregon's cost of attendance as an example. So you can see here our direct costs, tuition and fees, and on-campus housing we estimate for this year at $26,640. And then our indirect costs. So these are things that you might incur as costs, but places where you could potentially save if you're savvy. So if you put it all together, our in-state cost of attendance for this year is $30,312. And that is a lot of money, right? But again, you're going to have financial aid because you watch this presentation and you have some tips about what deadlines are coming up, what kind of scholarships you can apply for, what you can be doing to prepare with your grades and your extracurricular involvement to make sure that you pay much less than this. So that brings me to tips. We're going to review a couple of things as well. So there are opportunities to start saving money now, whether that's just a savings account or a 529 college savings account or an individual development account. Have a family discussion about paying for college. Money is a touchy subject, but it's really important to know, can your parents help you pay for college or are you on your own? Um, is there enough, did grandma save enough money for 4 years at an out-of-state school or just at an in-state school? You know, these kinds of things um, that are really important. Are you expected to work while you're in college? Have a discussion about that. Research and apply for scholarships. Like I said, apply for everything under the sun. I applied for maybe 5 scholarships when I was in high school. I spent probably 2 hours, 3 hours on each of those essays. And from those, I got a scholarship that paid for my computer for all 4 years in college. It was definitely worth my time. And then in October of your senior year, file your FAFSA. So you want to do that FAFSA as soon as possible. You can go to the website of any college or university you're interested in, and you can see not only their cost of attendance, but also you can enter information like the expected family contribution that we talked about in part 1, and enter that in, enter your GPA. It's going to tell you an estimate of what kind of financial aid you might receive from that school. So that'll give you a pretty good sense of what one school costs in comparison to another. That's a net price calculator available on every college's website. Let's hit some of those deadlines again. I've touched on a lot of them. At the University of Oregon, you're generally applying for admission January 15th. It may be different at different schools, but this is kind of giving you an idea of the timeline. February 15th, we ask for your transcripts. If you've done a standardized test like an SAT or ACT, you can submit that by February 15th. We don't require them anymore. March 1st is the priority filing deadline for the FAFSA and the ORSA. It's also the OSAC state scholarship application deadline. And then for other types of scholarships, it's really going to vary. So most are due by February. You definitely want to be applying early and thinking about this as soon as your senior year, if not before, because once you've already been admitted and you've already started school, it's kind of too late. So this process repeats every year. In October, you're doing your FAFSA or your ORSA. In March or April, you're getting an offer letter. Once you're a continuing student, it might come a little bit later. April, August, you're generally looking at what documents are needed to finalize your aid offer. You're accepting your aid offer in summer, making sure everything is ready to go before that first bill hits, whether that's August or September. And then always be looking for scholarships, and especially in the fall to winter timeframe. So I know you can't ask questions live, which is why we've got our contact information here. You're welcome to call us at any time. You're welcome to send us an email. We've got help available in Espanol. So if you need any assistance, we want to help you figure out how to pay for college. It's not as difficult as you might think. So please do contact us and check out our website, check out those websites of those colleges you're interested in. Talk with financial aid counselors. We're not scary, and we want to help you figure this all out. All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me in this 3-part series, and go Ducks.